to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about the items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get to our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, and I just got to say it, repeat offender. Debbra Sweet is in the house. Welcome.
Hey, Ron. How are you?
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. We are celebrating today, so I must admit, I'm going to probably stick all week on celebrating January 27th. National Chocolate Cake Day. Having beaten anorexia, I think I'm just going to stick right there because you look at January 28th and you have National Data Privacy Day. Somebody please tell that to Equifax. They might be able to do that. Facebook, they might have a little problem with that one as well. National Have Fun at Work Day. Well, we do that every day. National Kazoo Day. I don't know if I can play the kazoo.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Blueberry Pancake Day. I wonder if that goes with chocolate cake. I'm just throwing that out there. And those of you that are moving, today is National Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. Don't tell the environmentalists about that one. They'll have a problem because it's all plastic. I guess I can get in trouble saying that, right? I mean, I'm sure that I will have upset somebody by the end of the broadcast, so we might as well get it on right away. That's just the way we roll here. Moving right along, let's check and see what's going on in the markets. I have been watching them all day long. Uh-oh.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Dow Jones Industrial Average down 383 points, close to 384 points. Not good news right there if you are an investor. If you're thinking about buying a house, that might be beneficial. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I am looking at oil down $2.16 a barrel. That's a little odd because we are watching closely what's going on in Venezuela. No, not Brooklyn. I'm talking about Venezuela, the country, Miss Cortez. I mean, that's a little different there. But oil down down 4%, $2.15 per barrel right now. That's a pretty big drop in oil, but what's it doing to gas prices? National average $2.26.1. In Taxifornia, we are paying $3.24.8. Not a pretty sight. We can still go to Missouri and get a gallon of gas for, what's that, about $1.30 less than we are paying in Taxifornia. Just baffles me how we can continue doing the same things, but maybe we can vote for some of the same people again. We are still paying more for gasoline in Taxifornia than they are paying in the oil-producing state of Hawaii. Try and figure that one out.
What's the big idea?
Yeah, I wonder about that myself. Let's move on and see what else is going on in the news. Looking at the 10-year Treasury, that's up just a little bit, up 1.5 basis points. Not a whole lot of moves there. I'll talk more about that in the Mortgage Minute in a little bit. The briefing of the day. Last Friday we were already done when we got the news that the government shutdown had concluded. But there was a big story that's missed there, and you will not hear this anywhere else in the news. The media will come up with the garbage about Wilbur Ross being out of touch. Do you know who Wilbur Ross is? Do you know Wilbur Ross's background? I know. He's a billionaire, and he's the Commerce Secretary of the United States. And when you listen to the media and they come up with their stupid comments that they always do, 90% of them we know they're left-wing loons as opposed to normal left-wingers. But the media left-wing loons. Now here's what BBC came out with. Out of touch Wilbur Ross mocked. Okay, well maybe it's not Wilbur Ross that's out of touch. Maybe the problem is us. And more importantly, maybe the problem is our education system. Because Wilbur Ross came out and said, I don't understand why there's a problem, why people that have lost 2 paychecks are going to food banks. Think about this. Now, I get it, Wilbur Ross, billionaire. But on Ron Siegel Radio, we talk to you every single day, or nearly every day, about the idea of a safety net, about the idea of an emergency fund. Because you know something, even though the government shut down for a month, and people missed 2 paychecks because of the government shutdown, I just was watching the news last night, and there was somebody going the wrong way on the freeway. And there was an accident on the freeway, and it's my guess that there might be people that are in accidents today that may not go to work for the next month. Are they all going to the food bank? Maybe it's our education system that's at fault here. Maybe we haven't taught our kids, and I know we haven't taught our kids anything about finance. Right? I've got 3 of them, 3 kids, and the schools don't teach them even how to write a check. They don't teach them how to pay a mortgage. What is a mortgage? How to balance a checkbook, heaven forbid. How to balance a credit card statement. Now, they might know that they got hacked on their credit card statement. The only way they know that is because they went to use the card the next time and it didn't go through. But think about some of these things that are pretty basic to most of us. Many of us who are old enough, we went and had a class called home economics. Right? And we had to figure out how to do these things. So when I put on the headline for today's broadcast, could you survive without 2 paychecks? The issue had nothing to do with politics. It had to do with our education system and the failure that we have of educating our young people. The failure that we have in getting savings. Now I understand, and I talked about this on the broadcast during the government shutdown, the whole concept that we don't have an emergency fund, we don't have that 6 months or 12 months set aside in the bank just in case of the unexpected. There are going to be accidents today. I was with a family on Sunday. I had breakfast with them. The son-in-law borrowed, or however you do it, rented one of those scooters, those public scooters. Have you seen those in some of the big cities? Right? So they borrowed a scooter and got in an accident. Had to go to the emergency room. Is going to be out of work for probably 3 months. Let's think about this. There's no check coming for the next 3 months. Now, he may get disability. He may get unemployment. I don't know. But if he doesn't have some sort of a personal safety net, he's going to be in serious trouble financially. What would happen if your company closed that you didn't know about it? What would happen if you got laid off? What would happen if you got hit by a bus? These are all things that happen every single day. Go to the news stations and watch. Now, we have a product, we have a program that we're rolling out, and I had never thought of it for this purpose because of a government shutdown, but it's a budgeting piece of software. You put in your finances in there, and you set goals. What should goal number 1 be? Have an emergency fund. Have a personal emergency fund so you can survive 2 paychecks, 4 paychecks, 6 paychecks of not coming in, and you don't have to go to the food bank. You don't have to go to the homeless shelter. You don't have to be foreclosed upon. You don't have to get evicted. These are just common sense things, but we don't teach our kids these things, so how do they ever learn it if we don't take that responsibility first? Think about that concept, and I'm going to have a commercial made for our broadcast. It'll be up within the next, 4 or 5 days. That's going to talk about this budgeting tool. It is absolutely free. That means no cost to you. I pay for it. It's a gift from Ron Siegel Radio, so you can go in there and just do a family budget and figure these things out. I don't care if you put away $100 a month, $100 a week, whatever you can afford. And I know that people can find money, right? Because I waited in line at Starbucks and I saw how many people are there, and then I look and I say, okay, well, the average person has about $500 in savings. Yet we spend, what's your Starbucks habit, right? Is it $5 a day, $5 a week, $100 a month? Think just about Starbucks alone, right? You can find that money to put it away and make yourself a happier person, because one of the biggest stresses that many people have in our society is finances. Just a thought about that, and I don't even want to go into the fact of how many people, and this is it, I'm going to get morbid, how many people commit suicide every year because of finance. Think about that one. We could put the divorce industry out of business practically if we got rid of the financial issues. Just a thought for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why it makes no sense to wait to buy or to sell a house in the spring. Why shouldn't you do that? We'll talk about it. We've got the Mortgage Minute coming up. The difference between Credit Karma and Credit Sesame. What do you need to know about those? We'll talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay will be available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates. and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. They are the only one I know of with the Fast Pass loan approval. Checking the markets for you today. Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 368 points. We're looking at the U.S. 10-year Treasury, the yield on that, the interest on that, down 2 basis points, not a whole heck of a lot. The Fannie Mae 30-year bond, that is up 6 basis points. That means, by definition, interest rates are down a little bit. Just not enough to really worry about. But then again, I tell you, as I do every day, some people ask me this, why do you go through those numbers, Ron? I say, well, people want to hear them. You got to report it. But the issue is, why is it happening, not what is happening. So the why is, we know stocks are down. Why? Because we've got weaker earnings from Caterpillar. What does Caterpillar tell us about? Building, right? Those big machines are not used to drive around the city. Caterpillar's a leading indicator of business infrastructure. Bonds are trading, they're a little bit better right now. It's a quiet news day, but it is going to be a very volatile week, and I'm going to tell you all about it. We're going to have the Federal Reserve meeting is coming out. Wednesday is going to be the biggie. Right? The Federal Reserve is going to come out. We're going to get jobs data, inflation data, housing data, all coming out this week. The Fed's two-day meeting starts on Tuesday. Statement and press conference on Wednesday. Every meeting in 2019 is going to have a press conference, so they don't want us to know exactly when they're going to raise interest rates. But as you know, the Fed has made it clear they can remain, quote-unquote, patient and may not be hiking rates for some time, if at all this year. One new development is that the Fed may alter their balance sheet reduction plan. Remember quantitative easing? We've been talking about that. Now they're selling off their balance sheet, talking about modifying that, and that could be very, very good for interest rates. Might not be good for the economy, but might be good for interest rates. Speaking of the Fed, their favorite measure of inflation, personal consumption expenditures, PCE, will be released on Thursday. Market is expecting headline inflation to drop from 1.8 to 1.7 for the core reading, which strips out food and energy prices to remain stable, 1.9. Additionally, job creation will be released, which will probably mark, that's big risk right there. ADP and BLS employment reports will be released on Wednesday and Friday, respectively. Market is expecting 180,000 jobs created in the ADP report, 160,000 in the BLS jobs report. Lastly, there will be a few housing reports released. The Case-Shiller Home Price Index, that's appreciation of pending home sales. Whew, there's a lot going on. Tuesday, the Fed begins that two-day meeting. A lot of that stuff we're going to report on all of it as we go through the week. That's the Mortgage Minute. Again, actually might have been 2 minutes. Brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next home, Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. Going to chat this morning. Debbra Sweet is with us. Sweet Marketing Solutions, and welcome.
Thank you. You just spun my head. That was a lot.
There's a lot of good stuff there, and you know, great segue there, Deborah, because one of the things I like to tell people all the time is you don't have to know all of that stuff.
Right.
Right? You just have to know where to get it or who knows it. And I know in what you do as well,
yes,
a lot of what you're teaching is, something you don't have to be the expert of everything as long as you have a great consultant that can supplement your deficiencies.
Totally.
And you're willing to accept that input.
Totally. In fact, that's what the most successful people seek to find. They understand where their strengths are, and everything we do in life and in business, we have our strengths. I call it your secret superpowers, right? As a human, you all have that. But then there's opportunities for improvement and showing up. And every day we're a different individual. Our business is a little bit different. And so that, yes, you're right. Part of what I do is I help bridge that gap, and, not here to overhaul a business unless if it really needs it, but let's shore up, take advantage of where your strengths are, find those gaps to help you level up to the next phase for what is right for you.
I have a friend of mine that is a former special operator in the United States Army, and he's got a very, very simple line: hire your weaknesses.
Totally.
Right? And I studied personality profiles at Merrill Lynch, and the biggest challenge is entrepreneurs know the answer to everything, just ask them. Right?
Yes.
So, and you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs.
I do.
So the challenge must be to get them to realize, something, you don't have to be the expert in everything, but you have to know where to get that information.
Yes, and then be willing to listen and consider. And that's where I love working with get it done people, because I always say too, Ron, there are thousands of brilliant ideas, and when we're talking about business, the dynamic in how business is being done and what is coming to light for new businesses, right? There are new industries, new trends, new products, new innovations. But when you're talking about seeking counsel, it's one thing to seek counsel, it's another thing to have your ego, where you can put that ego aside for just a moment to actually consider. And yes.
That's a big issue right there, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they got into business because they feel they can do it better, whatever it is.
Totally. I think that's part of the entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
That's that, I'm going to go do it, right? And we all have heard of the E-Myth, and we've heard of all the different platforms of how you can grow. And there is a point where that entrepreneurial spirit and passion, we take our ideas, and yes, we can do it our way, but without the right knowledge, systems, structure, and resources, you can build a business upside down really quick. And
sure.
I deal with that I find people doing that all the time. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I have a program that I developed that's called Gear Up, because it's all about helping businesses. Specifically, this program is ideal for companies that are under $1 million, that are upside down.
Small business.
Smaller businesses. And it not so much how long you've been in business, but if you've been stuck, there are different plateaus from 0 up to $1 million. There's some really distinct plateaus. And so if you're stuck at a plateau and you've been there for a while, man, just some minor pivots can sometimes help, redefine and help you plan your growth strategically for the next 12 months. And sometimes that's all we have to do, right, to get you to that next level. And so,
I refer to some of the businesses there that sounds like you're talking about. You've been in business 5 years, but really you've been in business 1 year 5 times over.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
You're in the first year, but you haven't done anything to grow on that.
Right. Or you're going. You might be right. You might be, but you're doing it your way,
right?
The entrepreneurial way, which is not bad. But there's a point where you realize, hopefully, you realize that maybe there's a better way. What is it that I don't know? There's what we know, there's what we don't know, and then there's what we don't know that we don't know.
Sure.
And that often ends up being our largest gap in our knowledge. And so I am very passionate about helping businesses strategically plan their growth. And I've developed, for the companies under $1 million, this Gear Up program is a 6-week program that is, we dig into some simple aspects. There are 5 key components to help plan things out and help you avoid the overwhelm and the tailspin from within that can happen when you're trying to figure out what am I supposed to do. And then on the other side, like we talked about this, off air, that a lot of what I'm hearing right now in the business world, it's interesting, is overwhelm. Right?
Well, that was a question I was going to ask you, because so many business owners that I run across, and the ones that I've known, the last 30 or 40 years of doing these things, is they hear a 6-week program.
Right.
How am I going to ever find 6 weeks to do something?
Right. Well, I have a 90-day program. 6 weeks is easy. And so you're right. And interestingly, a lot of what I hear, we talk about the ego and we talk about we know everything, but when you're stuck, right? If overwhelm has been influencing you, overwhelmed because you're trying to figure out how am I going to get my business, or overwhelmed because maybe you have so much business you don't know how to hold on to it.
Right.
One of the first, what I always hear is, Deb, I don't have the time. And that is a counterintuitive statement, because most people go into business for time freedom and money freedom, peace of mind, and ROI. So yes, it's counterintuitive to step back and take that 1 hour a week to go, okay, I'm working on the business. And that's how this program is designed to be 1 hour a week live with me. And then I have an online, actually have an online learning portal that I put together that does training so you learn at your own pace.
That makes it, well, now, do people follow through with learning at their own pace?
They do.
That's the big question, right? I mean, you give them if I have an appointment with you for an hour,
right?
Okay, I've got that on my calendar, I've set it up, and I'm sitting with Deb for an hour.
Yep.
But if I have to go on the portal, well, I'll get to it a little later. I'm busy right now. I've got a phone call. I've got another appointment. And you just wonder about that part of, do people really follow through with it? Because one of the things I find that most business owners are contemplating is, I got in business to, for example, to build beds.
Right.
And I know a gentleman that makes the most fabulous bed in the whole world, but I don't think that he knows anything about accounting.
Probably not.
Right? And finance.
Right.
So they don't want to, but they don't want to admit that they don't know those things. They don't call a coach.
Right. And so it's interesting, and that's a great question. So when I'm doing consulting and coaching, because people, there's the almighty dollar is connected to their time. So when they invest into themselves by investing into working with me, they tend to show up. In fact, my best clients tell me, and it doesn't matter what size their business is, they tell me, Deb, I like your accountability. I like how you help hold me accountable. And sometimes, like the best of the best in like sports and entertainment, like just pick a field, the best of the best of the best, they hire coaches. And even when they're lighting up to the top of their game, they'll have those coaches that see the things that they can't see for themselves.
Sure.
And there's an accountability. And when one of the things, Ron, that I work with a lot are leaders in business. And sometimes when we're at the top and you have all these decisions, there's decisions every day, sometimes it's really lonely up there. And
generally it is.
Yes, you're right. And so to have a counsel, somebody who can come and support you, bounce ideas with, give you perspective to help you stay on track, and yet be there without judgment, it can make life a lot easier.
Makes a lot of sense. We're going to continue our conversation. Debbra Sweet is with us. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. What is the difference between Credit Karma and Credit Sesame, and why it makes no sense to wait for the spring to sell your real estate? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and on Twitter at Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. Credit Karma versus Credit Sesame, is one better than the other? Well, I'm going to tell you something right off that most people will not tell you about. Why is Credit Karma and Credit Sesame, why are they each free? Well, the real answer is because they're selling your information. They're trying to sell you something. Right? They both have all this data on there. They're giving you credit monitoring services. Very, very popular. People want to know what their credit is doing. They give you something that I call, it's a Ron Siegel Radio FACO score. It is not a legitimate FICO score, so I call it a FACO score. People think that it's legitimate. It is not. They use a different scoring model. They don't want to pay Fair Isaac Corporation to get you the real information. So why do people use it? Well, it's a monitoring service. You can see what's happening on your report, and then they give you these different options, and they say, well, if you push this button, you might be able to get you'd fill in the blank credit card. Well, if you don't qualify for that, they're going to sell your information to the next company who's going to try and give you a credit card. Then they get paid for getting you that credit card. Why do you think they can give you that site free? Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, they're the two most popular free credit monitoring services. They have similar offerings, but they are not identical. Credit Karma launched in San Francisco in 2007. 80 million subscribers.
Wow.
Credit Karma is the largest free monitoring service in the United States. Credit Sesame's membership totals around 9 million, according to the latest figures available. They're based out of Mountain View, California, launched in 2010. Again, both give you FACO scores. Neither site requires a credit card to sign up, although Credit Sesame's business model includes premium services that charge for some features. But we'll chat about that a little later, maybe a different day. With a free model, you might be wondering how the sites make money. Both get paid by advertising partners. Does that surprise you at all?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Using an algorithm based on your data, they both make credit card recommendations to their members. If you follow through and sign up on the site makes money. Just what I was sharing with you a minute ago. They both have some sort of identity theft monitoring programs, real-time alerts they'll give you on some of them. That comes with Credit Sesame, more on the real-time alerts. But why wouldn't you just go to, and I don't get paid for it at all, myfico.com. It's a little bit more expensive. but they're a legitimate FICO company. They are run by Fair Isaac Corporation. So guess what? You're getting a true FICO score. If you get that one, you'll actually learn about your FICO score. You can actually see when you make a payment, it'll show up. If your debt utilization drops, your score will go up. If your debt utilization increases, your score will go down. You'll see exactly how much everything has to do with your FICO score. Now, you can give me a call at 800-306-1990, and I'd be happy to share with you. We'll put you on one of our Get Mortgage Ready programs, whether you're getting ready for a mortgage or not, and it'll give you some of these tips and tricks on strategies on how to increase your credit score. But be careful of any of those services that are free. There is no free lunch. If it says free, say, how do you make money? How do you feed your family? How do you pay your mortgage? How do you pay the local grocery store? You've got to figure that out. Facebook, you're starting to hear more and more about that right now, right? Right? They're selling your data just the way it works. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. Going back to our discussion. Now, if you were with us, I don't remember, one day last week, you'll remember Louis Vasquez was with us. And he's a local CPA. And we were chatting about the idea that everybody needs to have a business right now when the new tax rules that have gone into effect. Mm-hmm. Think about that. Now, the idea here, and he was sharing that, even if your business doesn't make money, you can still write it off for a certain period of time. But wouldn't it make a little more sense to make money? Just a thought there. Debbra Sweet is with us, and maybe we'll learn how to take a business idea and make some money out of it.
Very good. So let me say one thing first.
Go ahead.
For the people that work with me, I don't sell your data.
Okay, good.
I love data, but I don't sell your data.
And it's not free. They got to pay because you got to feed your family.
I do have to feed my family, and I have teenage boys, and they eat a lot. So.
Exactly.
But I will say, there is one thing, right?
Yes.
And I do want to offer this to your listeners, that if you like what we're talking about and you want to do a phone call, I do something called Trailblazing Time, and this is legit. I will offer it complimentary, but if you choose to work with me, that yes, there is an investment, right?
Well, that's the idea, because
totally.
I mean, basically, free advice is worth what you pay for it. So my belief is that there's nothing wrong with paying. Think about you said this in the last segment, and we kind of glossed over it because we ran out of time. But I was reading a book, and I forgot the name of it, or actually I was listening to it on tape because I don't know how to read. But the concept was that the greatest have multiple coaches.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Right? Kobe Bryant, they were saying he had a coach that handled his physical fitness. Mm-hmm. He had a shooting coach. He had an agent.
Yep.
He had several lawyers. But, they need all of these different counselors or advisors around them.
Totally. I got to tell you, Ron, one of the biggest breakthroughs I had for the marketing firm, which took place in the breakthrough, took place in 2005, 2006. I had 5 coaches. I was working with 5 coaches at that time, and everybody had a very unique focus point. They were laser focused, and that's why I invested into myself. By investing into them, I surrounded myself with brilliance of minds, because I had a vision that I needed to make happen, and I was too close to it. So even though that's part of what I do with other people, I do the same thing for myself as I do for my clients, right? So that's what I'm able to provide clients when it comes into how do you strategically plan your company? How do you strategically plan your goal achievement and your marketing? And those are some of the sweet spots that I have. And I love working. I can collaborate with other coaches and consultants. And so when you're talking about, have a business, grow a business, maintain your business, definitely having those key people, like you're one of them. You and I,
Sure.
There are so many, I think we talked about this on an earlier show, that some of the statistics that have been out there is now the way business is being done is in certain segments, over 53% of businesses are home-based.
Okay.
Right? That's huge, and there's a whole learning quadrant. There's things that you can learn and things that you're going to want to understand. How do you have a home-based business, right? And how do you make that work without life interfering, without life being...
That's a big issue.
It's a huge... I grew up... My background is so eclectic. I've been around home-based businesses my whole life. My parents had brick and mortar and a home-based office. I've had both in my world, too, for my companies. So when you
have to be very, very disciplined for that.
Oh, yes, you do. And not everybody can do it.
Right.
And if you're working together in a spousal business, that's a whole different dynamic that you get into. Yeah, and I don't get into relationship counseling.
there's a different group for that. But the bottom line is, you're right, because I have had times. I mean, I've been working in a family business.
Yeah.
And it's a challenging issue when you go out for dinner even, and one wants to talk business and the other wants to just decompress.
Totally.
Right, and you got to have those boundaries, and sometimes having a coach or a board of directors. I mean, think about this.
It's the same, yes.
Right, every major business has a board of directors.
Yeah. I get brought in on advisory boards. I'm on board of I'm on BODs in other areas, and I have people that maybe they start out in one place. They're seeking to improve their marketing, or they need to improve their sales. We have to do something strategic to help them level up in leadership and in business. And the results we get them are so effective that later I become part of their advisory board. And I think that's great. I love working with businesses for the long haul. And you set this up. I told you you kicked a passion point of mine, and I've been really quiet about it right now, but it's all about education, right?
We're going to talk about education when we come back. We carried over a little long last segment, so we're going to bring that on. We'll talk about that when we come back. Education. I wonder how I got onto that rant, but we'll talk about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, Steve. Glad to see you with us this morning. I didn't even get a chance to talk to our friendly Anaheim Council member leading the charge in getting arrested, but you and I will chat about that. Larry, good morning. Arlene, Alex, good to see you with us. Got a whole bunch of folks on here this morning. Glad to see you. Robert, good to see you with us as well. We will chat offline. Arn, Delcy, Mitchell, Bob, glad to see you with us. Rhonda, glad to see you all with us this morning. We are going to chat the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by your household board of directors. That would be the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text ATP to 79564. Get that list going of area trusted professionals. You need a household board of directors. Everybody needs one. And I'm just going to share it with you flat out. The issue is none of us know it all. Some people think they do, but none of us really do. And the laws are changing in a lot of areas on a regular basis. So get on with that household board of directors. Why it makes no sense to wait for spring to sell real estate. The price of any item, including residential real estate, is determined by the theory of supply and demand. If many people are looking to buy an item and the supply of that item is limited, the price of that item increases. The supply of homes for a sale dramatically increases every spring, according to the National Association of Realtors. As an example, I shared some charts earlier on our social media channels so you can see those, putting your home on the market now rather than waiting for increased competition. Now, think about this. January of 2018, there was 1,300,000 homes on the market. And if we look at May of 2018, 300,000 properties more, 25% increase. Do you want to get into that fray? I suggest you're better off doing it sooner than later. Buyers in the market during the winter are truly motivated purchasers. They want to buy now. Yeah. And with limited inventory currently available in most markets, sellers are in a great position to negotiate. That's the real-time real estate segment, again brought to you by the Household Board of Directors, your household board of directors. Text ATP to 79564. Get on that. Fill out the sheet. Get the information you need. Again, that is the real-time real estate segment. So we started chatting, and the clock just seems to get in the way every single time. Deborah, whenever you're here, the clock gets in our way.
Because I know, so, totally.
So education, you were starting to chat about education.
I'll talk about education because this is the passion point that fuels what I do.
Okay.
Okay. And so we'll save my big life goal for another conversation on another day. But you talk about you brought up earlier why. The accountability, when people invest into their learning and they bring on outside advisors, right?
Right.
Why would they want to do that? And there's that distinction of tell me what to do or show me how to learn to understand. And when I am working with my clients, I've seen over the years, if I tell you that, Ron, you need to do something,
right?
If you are not clear on the why, you're less apt to do it. So I've been very motivated for a long time in the area of marketing development, strategic marketing, marketing planning, business growth to help educate my clients as to why. You as the decision maker, the business owner, you don't necessarily have to be the doer of everything, but I'm very passionate about making sure that my clients are educated on how to make a wise decision, and that requires knowledge. So when
it's fascinating that you say that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I find that so fascinating. I just had this conversation with one of my lending partners, and our conversation was centered around the fact that business people, entrepreneurs, we talked about this in the earlier segment,
right?
They know the answer to everything, just ask them. And if you tell an entrepreneur to do something, the likelihood of them doing it is probably slim and none.
Yes.
But if you lead them to the right answer,
Yes.
they're going to do it.
Absolutely.
Big difference.
It's a huge difference, and it sets you up for success, for longevity, because now every new thing you learn, even if it's just one step at a time, allows you, at least in business, well, in business leadership and in life, it allows you to have a wider platform, and that's like the secret sauce right there. When you, if you are running a business upside down, or you've got so much business that it could go upside down, and you're not clear on how to scale and build that foundation so it can go wide and fast. And scaling sometimes is scaling up, but it can be also acclimating the other way, right? Sometimes you have to pull back just a little bit. If you're not able to have the knowledge to know how to be fluid in that,
and to see that you need to do that, then you can set yourself for unintentional exposure to influencers, internal, external, and personal, that can really have a detrimental impact. Or with the right education, knowledge, influence, network, and knowledge, you can shift to prepare yourself to, be strong for the long haul. So how much time do I need to be able to devote? Everybody that I know of that has a successful business is busy.
Totally, we all are.
Right? So where do you start with carving out the time once you've recognized, or somebody's been able to smack you upside the head, so you realize you need to do this?
When I work with my clients, I usually ask them, can you make a commitment of 1 hour a week with me?
Okay.
And that's it. Can you do 1 hour? I have some clients that I do private consulting with, one-to-one, and they're at a point where they're like, Deb, I can do 30 minutes twice a month. Okay, that's a great start. That's an entry point. But for those who really want to see some significant change, they usually can take that 1 hour, and we can make that happen. And then what I'd love to help people move into, which is very counterintuitive, is can you get to the point where that 1 hour becomes 2, that 2 becomes 4? And what would your world look like if you could have a whole day, one whole day to work on the business? And it is crazy when you think about the most successful business owners get to the point where because they've shifted things in how their business runs, they actually can invest 1 or 2 days a week working on the business versus being stuck in it.
I'm going to suggest that any business owner that can't dedicate an hour a week really has a problem in their business.
You are correct. And that goes back to that overwhelm again.
Right.
They're usually overwhelmed because they're trying to figure out how the heck am I going to get my next dollar, and I'm trying to manage cash flow. Or the overwhelm could come on the other side. I have so much business coming in, I'm starting to shut down because I don't know what to do. When you're in it, it just takes that outside perspective.
You can't see what's going on. And you and I were talking before we went live this morning. I did a seminar, Lunch and Learns.
Yes.
I do that for real estate professionals all the time, twice a month. And one of them was time blocking, and we did a lot of discussions around the book of 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yep.
And the problem with most business owners is they're so worried about putting out fires that they haven't worked on the area that says, we don't want to get to the fire.
Oh, totally. And putting out fires is exhausting. And I've definitely helped. I've gone through this learning curve myself, and I've also helped many clients, learn how to do it much more effectively. And that's the thing. When you have the right kind of pivots, you have the right kind of support, you can pivot. And pivoting into a place where there's peace and there's, some space to breathe.
Sure.
It doesn't have to take a long time, and you can do it without overwhelm. And, may I offer something to your readers?
Sure.
Okay, your readers. I'm reading. Hi, team. Okay, so to your listeners here I'd love to have a conversation. If you're stuck in that overwhelm, let's just talk. I may or may not be the right solution for you, but chances are if I'm not the right solution, I know somebody who is. And so you can book some time with me just by going to trailblazingtime.com. And
we're going to have you put that, because so many of us are not writing. Don't write that down if you're driving.
Right. I try to make it simple to remember, but trailblazingtime.com. And yes, I'll make sure that you get that.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that into the show notes as well. But make sure you do take Deb up on that. I mean, really, when you think about it, I have a friend of mine that's a financial advisor, and he talks all the time that he spends probably a week every quarter just working on his business.
Totally.
Right? Not in the business. They do strategic planning. and was just lucky, or not lucky enough, but strategically enough, he sold his business for a very good sum of money. And basically, because they've always dealing with a strategic plan, right? And he can't do it himself. He always brings in other people to work with him and his partners to work on these strategic plans.
It's so powerful. I facilitate many plans and, write the plans, and it's weird because I'm a high creative. I'm a really highly creative, and I fell in love with the power of the planning. So the planning process may not seem sexy to begin with,
right,
but boy, it's the outcome of what you can do when you've got it all put together.
If you're working that plan and you only have to worry about the next 3 months, right, it makes life a whole lot easier and more enjoyable. Right? Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about this again next time. If you want to, again, I'm going to go back. Trailblazingtime.com is a method to book some time with Deb. Make sure you set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, if you want me to introduce you to Debbra Sweet, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.